I think me and Beeves were playing 9 and 10 with Brendan Boyle, and like by 20 minutes in, we were about bright pink.
Killian, Marmion, welcome to Throwing Stones. How are you?
Very good, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
Good stuff, good stuff. I am delighted to have you. Thank you very much for coming on. Marmo, you're club captain. You're an AIL winner. You're Division 2B Player of the Year. You've been Club Player of the Year. You're very well acquainted with success. I'm really looking forward to talking about that with you and hearing various stories you've got to tell. But we'll start in the beginning, like all good stories. What was your first introduction to rugby down in Greystones? Was it in the minis?
Yeah, it was in the minis. I mean, kind of first memory would be like getting dropped down at the club at half 9 on a Sunday morning with my 3 brothers, kind of just tossed out.
Yeah.
Just kind of run around and tire yourself out for the morning kind of thing. So that's kind of how it started out. Like, and
who was kind of your age group at that level? Like when you first played?
When I first played, kind of Burns year, kind of our main coaches when I was underage were kind of John Coakley, Barry O'Byrne, a few others. Like they were kind of the Sandra Savage, who seemed to always be the manager of our team.
Oh, good.
For years. So
Barry O'Byrne's been fixture in your life since you were 6 years old, 7 years old.
The very start, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. The minis is something that's really important to you. I know that like for a little while there, you guys were involved in like coaching at the underage level.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, a small bit. When Victor was president 2 years ago, he was big into bringing in a lot of the senior lads to kind of show face down at the minis and get involved as much as you can, to kind of lend a hand with whatever way you can, coaching teams and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think it took off a bit before obviously COVID started, and it's something that definitely we can kick on when it all kicks back, because
again,
they'll need a lot of hands with all the new restrictions and everything coming in.
Yeah.
So, but it's just big. Like the mini section in Greystones is so good in terms of the numbers and like the amount of teams and the amount of volunteers and stuff. So it was just great to give back. Like I remember,
give back to it, yeah.
Absolutely. I remember when I was in kind of under 12s or 13s, you had like Aaron Higgs and Cian O'Sullivan and those lads coming down to do a bit of a dig out, and like you still kind of remember those things like when you're a young fella. So definitely that's something that we could build on and kind of do in the future as a senior team.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, brilliant. You guys were very successful as an underage group. When you were under 17s, I think, did you win the double? Is that right?
Yeah, under 17s was a big year for us. We had Steve Keating and Barry O'Byrne were the 2 head coaches, and like 2 extremely passionate Greystones men.
Sure, yeah.
We couldn't get any better coaches for the job, and we kind of had a weird year in terms of just before that under 17s year. I think about 5 or 6 of our kind of best players moved out to Blackrock, and Killian went as well with them. But we kind of had lost kind of the core of our team at that stage. So kind of under 17s, we're kind of rebuilding a bit and kind of got a load of players from kind of Jared's and Prez junior cup team. Like we were in 4th year that year and kind of built a new team and ended up winning 2 medals.
So you played Blackrock in both finals, isn't that right?
I think so. Yeah, I remember there was a big rivalry because.
And Killian Green, having left Greystones, he's going to love this, by the way, because he's at every single episode I've recorded. He's been wondering where his mention is. So, Killian, here's your mention. Let's just set the record straight. Killian Green left the club in disgrace, and then joined Blackrock. Played against Blackrock in the final of a League and a Cup, and lost.
Yeah.
Let's just we can formally acknowledge that. Yeah.
Yeah. He later went on, I think, to Belvo, and then before coming back, it was
wow. More clubs than Tiger Woods, that guy. Other Killian Green fact is he missed the last minute penalty against Clontarf for the J1s in a match once. I think it's important we just acknowledge that and
He did get that
and
one.
move on.
Yeah, he did get that one for the touchline, I think, against Sea Point. Up
Oh, we'll edit that part out.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to talk about that.
Yeah.
No, you did. You won two a league and a cup at under-17s. Under-19s are even more successful.
You know, like under-19s, you have
it's 2 years. Yeah,
a lot of the lads are gone to play senior cup or whatever if they're in 6th year, and you're almost left with the almost, I'm not going to say the leftovers, but like the lads that aren't playing senior cup, and it's almost like a bit of a group of misfits.
Were you one of those guys? Did you playing seniors in school?
No, I was always kind of playing seconds and not really on the.
So still a high standard, but it meant that you had grey stones to come back to.
Yeah, definitely.
You weren't tied to playing for Blackrock only.
Yeah.
Like
I think I played for Greystones like every year that I was in school. So like,
okay, very good.
Never.
And tell me about your under-19s team and how successful they were.
So I mean, we won 3 trophies that year, which was which was fantastic. I think we had the first final was in like De La Salle, and then the second final ended up being against Barnhall for both of them. So for whatever reason, it was like put into winner takes both trophies into one game final against Barnhall out in Lakelands in Ternier. And yeah, we ended up coming through and winning that and bringing back 3 trophies to the club, and it was great crack. And I think that was the year Paddy kind of wandered in from Rathdrum and joined our team, and he was a bit of an anomaly, almost like kind of just as he came in, played about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 games for us before Reggie took him for the senior.
As an 18 or 19-year-old,
19-year-old, yeah, he was straight in. Like he was when he I remember when he came down for the first training session, and like he wouldn't even tackle people. He just kind of like grab them, take the ball, and run the other way. Like it was, it was different behavior.
Yeah, he's an absolute freak athlete. Your captain for the under-19s team that season was Ian O'Byrne. Is that right?
Yeah, Ian has kind of been the captain of all the teams I've been on since almost. I've been in since I can remember, really. Like, so that wasn't anything new, but he was the captain. Obviously, Barry and Steve as the managers, and Keane came in to do the backs coaching, and then we had Mick Cleary as well running the management. So it was a really well organised like team.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well led and everything. So
that kind of group eventually migrated to juniors at the club. And when I was playing in the J3s, Stephen and Barry O'Byrne and Carl Jordan and Nick Cleary were all involved. And yeah, they kept referencing your 19s team and how different things that they tried out and implemented at that level. And they worked so well at J3s as well.
Yeah, I remember president at the time, Paddy Elliott, was at all of our games, like every single one.
Yeah.
Absolutely loving it, and all the celebrations after. Like, and I actually bumped into him down the road the other day and just had a good chat with him. But like, he was at every single game.
Yeah. That season he went to every single match. He was going to, like, I was playing for the J4s, like in lashing rain somewhere, and he'd be away watching, Clondalkin away, and he'd still make the trip out. Great guy. You migrated then to under 20s, or was it under 21s maybe for that kind of brief period? What was that like? Was it a step up from 19s? Because you have all the schools players coming back then.
Yeah, definitely. So my first year playing it was under 21s at the time, and obviously you had KV and Ben Armstrong as the kind of 2 head coaches who were both, which was an absolute privilege to have like those kind of caliber lads. I think Ben was captain of the senior team at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So it was huge having him down, and how much kind of rugby knowledge he has, and just great man management and stuff. And then you have KV doing the backs, and like KV was absolute club legend. So like to have him coaching us and just the enthusiasm that he has, and it was almost infectious. Like it kind of rubbed off, and like we ended up having something like 2 teams, 50 people at training most nights, that kind of thing.
50.
Well, like not that much,
or 40, like whatever. So 2 teams worth of.
It was big, and like a lot of that came from. We had a big tour in under. I thought like we had a big tour in under 17s, and like we went to Portugal for a year. Or went to Portugal for 5 days. and that was ridiculous.
Some tour.
Virtual 5 days, and like it was almost like that there was a tour coming at the end of the year every night in under 20s, because like when we went on a tour to Portugal, like you'd have, when that was coming up, all of a sudden you'd have 40 lads coming down training. It was almost like that every night for the 20s. And yeah, we were in, what was good about that year was that we were in the Premier Division of the under 20s, so we were playing against the likes of UCD and Terranure and stuff in the kind of the group stages. And so it was great to kind of test yourself against like a lot of the best players that were knocking around Leinster at that time for the underage grade. Like I remember playing UCD in UCD, and you had like Adam Byrne on the wing and Josh van der Fleer playing 7 and this kind of stuff. So
seriously, we
could hold our own like for the most part, but obviously didn't win or anything. But like,
so these guys were academy players almost.
And they kind of had playing 20s for UCD kind of before they made the whole Leinster step.
Amazing, yeah. You didn't spend too much time playing 20s. You got called up to the seniors fairly quickly. Would that have been like maybe your second year you were called up?
Yeah. So after halfway through kind of second year of 20s, kind of got Reggie kind of just called me to go up to the top pitch to train with the first team.
And what was that like? Is it that had been a big jump again?
It was good. Yeah, like I was obviously quite nervous going up to a lot of these big lads.
Because don't forget, like the guys that were knocking around back then. I mean, you had Ben, who made, unless you knew him from your coaching days, but you had like Bobby Clancy or Barry Holmes or Simon Malone, or all these guys that were Jamie, for example, who've been around the block for years, and maybe even 15 years older than you, like, and you're coming in as an 18-year-old. Intimidating a bit, do you think?
It was definitely nerve-wracking going up, but I do remember like at that time I was working behind the bar, I was doing the lunches, and I kind of I'd know the lads a bit, kind of would know Moose from serving them pints and that kind of stuff. So he kind of took me under his wing a bit, and you kind of felt kind of at home straight away almost, apart from the fact that the lads were twice the size of the lads we were used to playing against. Like,
and did you play that year, or did you just train for a little bit?
I ended up, I kind of came up as like an injury replacement to someone kind of thing, and I ended up, your brother was kind of starting scrum half, and I would kind of come on for the last 20 minutes kind of thing for that season, and he was chuffed because your brother, he wouldn't even like playing 80 minutes anyway, so like he loved when I was on the bench. He knew we'd get like at least half an hour rest at the end. But that was kind of, it was definitely nerve-wracking going up, but like I said, kind of we played at a high enough standard with the under 20s. Like the game was pretty fast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it was more just getting used to the physicality and like kind of how structured it is up in seniors compared to 20s.
And one of the guys I know that had a big impact on you was Heinrich, the backs coach. He was like, because I kind of just come up at that same time. I was a little bit older than everybody, but I remember he was hard on you guys, you and Dara Callan in particular. Like he really like was tough with the new guys.
He was an unbelievable coach. He was definitely, it was more me and Paddy he used to have a go at nearly every training session. But he was savage. I mean, kind of one thing you take from him is like if you do something good once, he won't congratulate it. Like he expect you to do it every time, kind of way. So like just the standards that he brought was kind of new to me. Like you might do something good and think you're great, and then Heinrich was just like take it down a notch back to kind of where you need to be. But he drove really high standards, and like obviously Reggie doing the forwards, he was doing the back. So like it was just great to kind of get coached by him for a year and a half.
I remember Barry Lynn at the time telling me that the reason he joined Greystones was to be coached by Heinrich. Like that was one of the main reasons he wanted to come down, which shows, someone like Barry who had done it all still wanted to learn from someone like Heinrich, which is always cool. I think you only had maybe a season and a half under Reggie, and then Kevin Warren came in. What was that like? Was there a big change in things and how Kev operated compared to Reggie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because I'd been there for a year and a bit as well, I kind of had more I don't know, more say in the team or whatever, or more
More
like
confidence. Yeah.
more confident. Yeah, like I mean, with Reggie, I was just kind of keeping quiet and doing my job and trying not to cause a stir. But like when Kev came in, like I didn't know much about him at all before he came in. Just like his first team meeting, I thought like it was Declan Kidney standing at the front of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he was great. Like
You'll be dropped for that comment, Marmo.
like he was wearing an Irish beanie and everything, like, and he looked great. But anyway, he came in, like he put up his whiteboard and kind of like everyone just bought into Kev straight away. Like he's such an honest lad, and like he'll tell you how it is, and like he kind of the lads just bought into it straight away. Like you couldn't not like him. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, even if you did disagree with whatever he was saying, or he'd have no problem like talking it out with you or like taking on your point of view and this kind of stuff. So he was
Yeah, he's
really
an
like,
incredible man manager.
yeah, he was really good for that kind of stuff. There was never any an issue. Like, I mean, he wouldn't be able to explain a drill very well. That would be the only issue.
Yeah, you're fond of fixing things as they come up. But his attention to detail is just crazy. Like, you remember he'd pull out these like PowerPoint presentations and flip charts, and he'd be breaking down games into different graphs and pie charts or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some method to his madness. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Mad scientist. I had him on a couple of episodes ago, and it was really interesting to hear him talking and reminiscing about his playing days and everything else. In 2017, you're lucky enough to win the AIL in an incredible Greystones team. But from talking with you, I know it was kind of the season before that was almost as important, or maybe even more important than actually winning it, in terms of just kind of getting those reps out, understanding the structure that you guys are playing. Talk to me a bit about that year. I know there were some big games in it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I kind of forgot to mention, like with Kev came Warren as well, so you kind of couldn't leave Warren out. Like he had a massive impact on the pack, particularly like when he came. Obviously, Kev did as well, but Warren, like when he came, the lads absolutely loved Warren. He's kind of almost like a cult hero with the forward.
He is, yeah.
And even I was just chatting to Owen kind of before this, and he was just kind of saying how, like he has so much experience playing like for so many years, pro level or whatever. But like Owen said, he was unbelievable in terms of like line out defense, line out attack, where to jump, this kind of stuff. And like the year that we won the league, we had Barry Fitz, my brother John, and Dan, and Oisin Lennon as kind of the 5 second rows to choose from. And like that year, I don't think we lost a line out barely ever. Like we were just really well drilled. Like, but yeah, going back to that year that we won the league, yeah, like you said, it was. I thought that the year before kind of laid the foundations for us to be able to win the league. I mean, I think we came 4th and got into the playoffs and beat Scaries, and then
you beat Scaries away, and they were division ahead. Like that's how
coming down. Team was. Great win against Scaries.
Were you playing against directly opposite Frawley in that match?
I think it was either that match or the year before. I can't remember, because I think Heinrich was the coach at the time. So I remember Heinrich telling me, like, watch out for this guy. He's got a massive dude. He's going to be blah, blah, blah. So it might have been a year or two before.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it. But yeah, we had a great win up there. I think Jack Eaton scored 2 tries or something ridiculous. And we won by like 2 points in Scaries. And then we went down to Sunday's Well in Irish Independent Park. For the playoff final. And I think we went like 21-0 down after like 20 minutes. I just don't know what happened. We were a bit complacent, just not used to kind of that.
The big occasion, yeah.
That big cup match, winner takes all kind of thing. And we were a young enough team, and we just kind of went down and couldn't really recover. Like we kind of came back a bit in the second half, but it was kind of a little too late kind of thing. And I think that kind of everyone learned a lot from that year, like in that loss and that kind of thing. So by the time it came to the year that we did win the league, I think we had definitely done our fair share of kind of tough losses, that because we were basically the same team almost going like from the year to the next year. So yeah, no, I just thought that
it's funny, isn't it, how like sometimes even though you lose, like you probably learned more than if you won that game by 10, 15 points,
definitely.
And really galvanized the team. And I think come the next year, you were ready to win the league.
Yeah,
perhaps more so than you would have been otherwise,
Yeah, we definitely knew how to win games more like that. Even if, say, we weren't playing well or things weren't going our way, we were still able to kind of grind out a win.
Yeah.
As opposed to the year before, we might have like let it slip, give away
Yeah.
penalties, something stupid like that, just to kind of.
But there's often only one way to learn those, and that's by going through those tough defeats. But the year that you did win the AIL, yeah, I mean, what a team, with like guys like Jack Keating and Paddy and Con playing. But something that struck me from that year was, while like Jack obviously, and rightly so, got a lot of the plaudits for scoring whatever it was, 20 tries in the AIL. He's probably knows exactly how many he scored, and you'll correct me, like all wingers do. But your impact as a running out half in that season was unbelievable, because I guess defenses had to spread out and mark guys like Con further in the wider channels, but that left gaps for you. And like, there's no better running out half in the AIL than Killian Marmion. Like, what is that, like something that you're cognizant of or work on, or is it just
not really? Like, the few years before, we had like Kurt Strachan came in at 10. So I was kind of pushed to 9 or fullback or something like that, or wing, or you know where I was going to be playing. And then even the year before, after that, we had Brian Kingston came in and he played a bit of a run at 10. And I think he got like a bad concussion or something in the very first game of the year. And that's kind of how I got into starting 10. Like, I wasn't supposed to be kind of starting that year. And yeah, no, we definitely had an outrageous amount of threats in the back line that it definitely helped in terms of they'd be looking at the lads rather than me, and they could get a sneaky break here and there. But like, we had Ferdy on the bench.
Yeah. Shows how strong the team is. Yeah.
And like, we also had Keely coming back from his horrific injury, which kind of added a lot that year in terms of his goal kicking and his experience or whatever. So. And
Robin O'Sullivan, I think, came back that year as well.
Yeah, and then we had Mike come in that year.
Mike was the best hooker in Ireland that year, and I'm including all the professional players.
He's probably up there. Like, he was.
Like, I think that if Rory Best came down that year, he probably wouldn't have gotten the game. As how strong Mike was.
Hats off to kind of Barry Keely and the lads for kind of.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you remember a point that season where you were like, I think we're going to win the league, or did you take each game as the game? Yeah, like Kev would have been nuts for just looking at the game ahead. Like, he'd obviously have it all calculated what needs to happen, blah blah blah. But I didn't even know who we were playing in 2 games time. Most of the time, it was always just who's the next game or whatever. Until it kind of got towards the end, when we were kind of pulling away a bit. And the last game of that season, the second last game of that season, was Wanderers in the Aviva, and I remember I was just going up to watch the game. I was in the bathroom beforehand, and there was a couple of guys, Wanderers guys, beside me, and they were saying, "There's just no way Greystones are going to be able to live with us on that Astro pitch," and we won like 45-10 or something like that. Do you remember that game?
Not massively that particular game, no. But I mean, yeah, I've had so many games against Wanderers now at this stage. It's hard to.
They're all blurred into one.
Yeah, but yeah, though, apart from like, I've good memories of the very last game of the season.
Crescent.
Yeah, Crescent at home in the sunshine. I think it was like Easter bank holiday weekend, full house in the stand, and we were lucky enough to kind of pull away. Like, it was a bit of I think we ended up kind of beating them quite well in the end. So even Kev could start relaxing towards the end of that game.
I guarantee he didn't start relaxing until like the 79th minute. 79 minutes and 59 seconds.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, we were just so lucky to have that last game at home in front of the full crowd with the sun, and it was just, I don't know, something you kind of would never forget, like winning in front of the whole crowd. You know, I had the whole family in the crowd, and a lot of my mates were there watching, and yeah, and just to have Owen as well playing with me as well. It was just an unbelievable year, and kind of something you don't really realize how good it was until you almost look back.
Yeah, Kev spoke about being in the dressing room after the game, and it was just you guys. But there was hundreds of people milling around outside. but it was a very special moment for you guys, just the 15 or the 22 in the dressing room. Do you remember that?
Definitely, yeah. We were in there for about an hour or so, and just kind of Kev obviously gave his speech and kind of said how proud he was and that kind of stuff, and everyone said their bit. But I remember Paul Lennon coming in, and like Paul Lennon did so much work for the senior team for the last I don't know how long, and I remember him giving this big motivational speech, or real nice words, saying how like you mightn't realize how important this is now, but it's big for the club and this kind of stuff. And then we all signed on top of the wall above the door. So when you come in on the left, you have everyone that was part of that team signed on the wall. And it was just a nice kind of touch from Paul, like, and you just kind of say, like, you'll never forget this day or whatever. And anytime you're in the change room, just look up at your name on the wall or whatever. And that's kind of where we want to be. And that's what we want to be doing each season, like getting trophies for the club. So I thought that was huge, like, and just kind of showed like how much it means to everyone involved in the club, management, club members, players. It was fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely, damn right. Later that year, you guys went on a tour to Poland. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so Paul O'Connor organised that tour, and
club legend. Club legend.
Absolutely, yeah, one of the most intense men of all times. But he organised the tour, and I think he used to live there or play there or something, so he knows the language. He knew the lay of the land, where to go, or this kind of thing. Tour went smoothly. It was played well, apart from we went. So like it was a pretty good idea to get the game out of the way on the first day. I think we arrived in at like I don't know, maybe 10 a.m. in the morning or something. Went straight to the pitch, and we were playing against this pretty good Polish side. I think they maybe won their league that year or something. But I remember just like Barry Holmes arriving to the airport with a duffel bag with literally just his parents' swimming togs in it. Billy Norman played fullback on that team that day, and it was like 30 degrees heat. And I saw one of your questions was like, "What's the toughest game you've ever played?" And I think that was up there for a different way. Like it was so hot. These lads were absolutely huge, big, bald Polish men running at you. I think me and Beeves were playing 9 and 10 with Brendan Boyle, and like by 20 minutes in, we're about bright pink, like so sunburnt, almost needed some sort of like, needing assistance. But yeah, no, that was an unbelievable tour. We kind of saw a bit of lads, I think, and had the one game, got bet, but it was good crack anyway.
It's what been part of the club's all about. I think it's going on tours like that, and it's important. The sport of rugby is like such a history of touring, and then great tradition in Greystones of going on tours. Hopefully there's some more to look forward to.
Just this year, before obviously COVID kind of came in, we were planning a tour. Like there was I'm not sure how much this I should say, but there was meetings and all kind of and it was all booked and budgeted, and we were going to go over to Hungary for
Victor.
Play.
Victor,
Victor, to play his club. So that was kind of set up for this summer, but obviously that all had to get canned.
Yeah.
With COVID, but you never know. Hopefully we'll
do it again. Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's such an important part of your rugby experience when you're a young guy. Something I'm very curious about, being a fitness fanatic, not a very good one either, is like, where do you get your stamina from? It's crazy. Like every single fitness test ever, you and your brother have been streets ahead of everybody else. Is there a stash of EPO in the fridge that Frank is hooking you guys up to, or what's the secret?
Well, I mean, I'd say like I don't know. It's just kind of down to, I mean, I've been training for the seniors for I don't know how long now, and Olin's been the fitness coach for that many years, and like just
very good fitness coach. Yeah,
matter of time. Like, you know, if you had 3 years training with Olin, he's going to get you fit eventually. Like, so there's a bit of that, and a bit of like, I'm massively competitive. Like, I'd hate to get beat by anyone. So like, that kind of definitely comes into it when it comes to fitness. Like, you try to win everything.
What's your Bronco time? Your best time?
I'm not sure. I got
You don't
beaten.
even know. This is how casual you are about
I
it.
got
I'm
beaten.
so
Well, I know,
jealous.
like it wasn't. I got beaten by Stephen Keating, the young lad from the 20s who came up this year. So
Oh
he got a
yeah,
really
yeah.
good time. He beat me, which I wasn't happy about.
What,
But
you kind of like 4 minutes, 20, 30
something like
seconds?
that, yeah, 4:20, something around 4:20. But
So jealous.
yeah, I mean, there's also that competitiveness, like with me and Owen and Shane. Like if I'm anyway off it, I'm gonna get beaten by Owen. So there's kind of that as well. Like in
Hey,
terms,
who's fitter, you or Owen?
probably me because I'm lighter, but Owen for
Oh.
his size, like he's extremely fit as well. Like
Yeah, he is. I remember seeing him pushing himself so hard one training session, and he would just, at the end of the fitness, he was just sprawled out on the ground, like gasping for air, and like no one else was really pushing themselves as hard as he was. Um,
that's the thing. I
Probably
mean,
to try and beat you. Like,
I think a lot of fitness is almost mental as well. Like it's all in
yeah,
your head. Like if you think you can keep going that extra rep or that extra whatever, then you will. Like, but if you're thinking when's the end or is this over or whatever, you're kind of screwed from the start. Like, and that's kind of built in with training with Olin. Like you'll say 6 laps, you do your 6, and he goes 2 more, that kind of thing. So you could never kind of think you're finished. Like,
absolutely. 2018, 19, you went over to Vancouver for a year. Tell me about playing rugby over there. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was a great year. I went to Vancouver and played for the Mariloma rugby team over there. It's kind of big enough club in Vancouver,
Where,
and
where in the city are they?
they're in Kitsilano, just
Oh
south of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kitsilano. So
Is that the team that Conor Cleary played for?
no, he was playing for Vancouver on like Stanley Island.
Okay.
Uh, so actually, like what's real good about kind of rugby over there is that, like, obviously I got to travel around a lot, going to like Vancouver Island, down to Seattle, all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
And like you have an away game, the whole club goes. So the seniors playing at 4 o'clock, then you have the seconds are playing just before that, and then just before that the thirds and the women are playing at the same time. So when you play these away days, it's like 4 busloads of
Wow.
players and fans, and everyone goes, and it's really really enjoyable the way it is like that. And then we got to a final, and similar thing in for the finals, they have like a big finals day. So like all the finals will be
Okay.
on the same day, different grades and different
Yeah.
levels. So I remember watching Conor Cleary play his final, and
Oh, very good.
the end, and people like in the center, he hasn't changed at all. Like, and they won easily as well. So yeah, I saw him over there. But that's something that, like, I mean, I know with the J1s and stuff, like there's like it would be unreal if
It'd be cool if we could do that
have
here. I agree
J1s
with you.
playing
Yeah.
before the seniors sometimes,
Yeah.
like at some games and that kind of thing. We travel together, the squads together, that kind of thing, and they kind of take away people having to play the Saturday, Sunday thing. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
It's not done traditionally here, but I mean, I guess there's no reason not to. It's something that definitely should be looked at though, because it sounds like an amazing occasion for the whole club to get out
yeah,
and
it
get
could.
involved. And I think they do it in Australia as well.
Yeah, they obviously can't do it like with the AIL the way it is now. Like, but if it was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if it was like, like the top, I don't know, 1A, 1B, and then the rest was provincial, then you
Yeah.
could easily have your first and J1s playing in Blackrock or whatever,
Yeah.
and that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Absolutely. You came back from Vancouver. I think your first match back was in the Aviva Stadium. I remember you guys playing Wanderers there.
yeah,
Seemed like you'd like stepped off a flight to go straight to the Aviva almost. But not long afterwards, you're asked to be club captain. A pretty amazing privilege. Like, you look at the guys that have captained the team before. You've got Spud Murphy or Barry Holmes, Neil McGennady, KV, like legends of the club. Andrew Keeley. What was it like getting the call?
yeah. Well, I mean, when Kev rang first, I was kind of like a bit apprehensive about being captain, because like I've never been captain of a team that I was on. I've always just, like I was saying earlier, like Eno's always been the captain of any. I've been on like underage in school or whatever, and I was definitely a bit apprehensive about taking it on, like in terms of, like, I wouldn't be a person who's giving the big motivational speech before a game or like talking too much. I'd kind of like to just keep it on the pitch, like, and that kind of thing. And Kev kind of just like assured me that like nothing really changes, like just keep doing what you're doing on the pitch, and that's kind of the main thing that matters. Like, and like with the likes of Robin O'Sullivan, Keely, Dan Mannion, these lads who've captained teams before, they're all in the squad as well. So like having those lads to rely on for different things was huge. Like, so that was kind of, once I kind of got over the fact that, you know, I rang him back. I was like, yeah, absolutely, would love to, like, absolute honor, like to be put up on that wooden board in the members bar, like for forever. Like that's kind of something that I'm really proud of. Like, and it's a huge honor for me and kind of and for my family as well. Like in terms of KV's up there and like big family connection in the club, and it's just that was just massively important to me that I got asked. And it's
absolutely. And like from my perspective, Marmo, like I know you maybe aren't like outwardly vocal off the pitch, but like at training and any matches I've played with you, like you're a serious leader and like so competitive. And like I used to hate at training if I was playing scrum half and you were out half. Like it was, you just get eaten alive with like the expectation. I want it now. No, fantastic. And I couldn't think of a better guy. Like I really would. I was delighted to hear when you were announced as captain, and I'm sure your family were too. Tell me about your family. Like it's like a complete like endeavor. Like you've got your 4 brothers involved with the club. You got both your folks and your grandmother. Like talk to me about that.
Yeah, definitely. So like my granny has kind of she's come to every game now since she kind of has gotten back into it. Like since the last kind of 4 years, she's on even at all the away trips. Like if my mum's not going to the away trip, she's on to Concallan's mum saying, "Can I get a lift up to Belfast today?"
Your granny will go up to Belfast.
Oh yeah, she goes to all the away games. Like she's
no
not
way.
getting on the team bus if she couldn't get a lift up. Like, but like her brother would have played in the club, and her husband, my granddad Mac, him and his brothers were massively involved in when it was kind of getting set up. Like Lorcan O'Brien was involved in setting up the junior section in the club in like the 40s or whatever. Like,
is that the link to KV? That side of the family?
The easiest way to explain it is my granddad and Sean Carlos's granddad were twin brothers.
Oh yeah. Wow, amazing.
And then their other brother Lorcan, I think then there was a third brother, which then I think the powers are involved, and like it's hard to follow. Like there's just
It's complicated at the royal family. But and like your dad is the team doctor as well. Like must be nice having him around all the matches with you too.
Yeah. Definitely. He gets, like, you know, the way you get the gear drop at the start of the year, like everyone gets the senior kit, and my dad always chuffed with his doctor jacket that he gets or something like that. Yeah, no, it's good. Like it's good, especially I'm looking forward to the day we have myself, Shane and Owen playing on the same team for the seniors. We've played a couple of Casey Cup matches together or whatever, and I've played, Shane's subbed for the seniors, I think once when I was playing down in Sunday as well, but not the 3 of us together. So that would be a big day for my granny, especially when the 3 of us are on the same pitch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, hopefully not too far away. First game I played with Shane, he was still in school, and it was a J1 final, and it was like he was the most keen guy to get in the ball. I've never seen anything like it. I remember telling the ref, I was like, he's only 18, and the ref was like, what? No way. So hopefully you guys, all 3 of you guys play the same team one day soon. Marmo, we're kind of
on the senior team. There is there's a lot, like there's obviously Roe of Mannion and Dan Mannion. There was Derek Callan and Con Callan and me, and like at one stage there was like 3 sets of brothers playing on one starting team. I remember. So that's kind of the beauty of such a kind of family community club, is you get those kind of things happening. Like
you did right, yeah, absolutely. It's a really good point. I played with my brother as well. It's great fun. I've also not played many matches because of my brother.
He always played 9 if
he always started ahead of me. But you're dead right. Yeah, it is. That's one of the good things about Greystones, isn't it? Like it's family involvement. Like you're saying there, that like your grandfather was involved in establishing part of the club. Like it's amazing link and lineage to have. We're so lucky to have it in Greystones. Long may it last. Marmo, we're coming towards the end of the session here. Just want to ask a few questions and get your thoughts on it. Who's the best trainer down the rugby club?
Best trainer. In the team at the moment, I can't. Someone. I'm gonna say Andrew Lynch. He's someone that like is just in the team at the moment. Like I'm just kind of thinking about recent trainings, but well, obviously not that recent. But he's someone that just goes 100% every time. There's no half-ass nothing, and I think it's a great attitude to have. And like everyone kind of should have something similar. Like
absolutely, yeah.
Or I don't know. It's hard to know.
Yeah, Andrew Lynch is a shining endorsement from club captain there. I'm say he'd be delighted with that.
When he's not injured. When he's not injured.
Yeah. Tell me about your favorite Greystones memory.
It's hard to look past obviously the year that we won the league and getting player of the year. Like that was a massive honor to get that big glass trophy, and like it was to get your name on the board as well. That was a massive honor for me. But just kind of for some reason, there was that game we had down in Highfield that kind of stands out when we were playing Highfield. I think they were top of the league, and we were getting beaten for the whole game, and it was absolute lashing rain, like the worst pitch I've ever played in. And I think we got back into within 6 points. And I think it was like last play of the game, ref called last play of the game, and we did one of those lineouts where you throw it straight over the back and Paddy comes flying onto it and runs off the pitch. Gets tackled at the line and kind of passes. A couple of phases later, Owen kind of beats someone and goes in the corner and scores a try. And then I just remember Billy Norman celebrating, going absolutely nuts as if we won the game. And I was just kind of like, Billy, we're still behind by a point here. I have to kick this over. Take it easy. And then lucky enough it went over, like it didn't slip or anything. And
you were the kicker. You had to.
I was the kicker that day, because and just that was just, I don't know, I just thought that was a great moment for because Owen scoring and me getting the winning kick, and the crowd watching, and
brilliant.
Him getting a lot of abuse from the Munster, from the Highfield lads, and being able to give it back at the end. So that's definitely up there. If that, and obviously winning the league in 2016-17.
Brilliant. Who's the best player you ever played with Greystones Rugby Club?
Best player, probably, I think I'd have to go with either Simon Malone, when first kind of more so like the first 1 or 2 years I was playing, like someone that you just wouldn't think would be beating players. He kind of reminds me a bit of Con, like now in terms of slice. You wouldn't think he'd be beating players for fun, but between Simon Malone and Jack Heating, that year that we won the league, it was just a freak. Like the amount of tries he scored, and how some of the individual scores he got were just really good. So I'm gonna have to say probably Jack.
Fair play. Not a bad choice at all. I remember some of his tries against like Wesley, and just incredible. Pull something out of nothing. Marmo, we're just about done for time now. But I want you to do before you go, promise me something, and that is you're only 28 years old now. Am I right?
Yeah. 27.
And you've been playing senior rugby for about 9 years, and you've got a hell of a lot more in the tank. But when you're finished your stint at senior rugby, come down, grab your friends, and play juniors.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm mad keen to play whenever it is. So I can definitely, Jeremy, I'll be down. I'll get Eno and I'll get a few of the lads, and we'll give it a go. Definitely.
Great stuff. 2027. Watch out. Marmo, fantastic. Really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you, and we'll catch up again soon. All right.
Thanks very much, Jeremy. Cheers for having me on.
No bother at all. Thank you, Marmo. See ya. Bye.